ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, March 11th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is open at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. You can also find me on X at Paul Swann. Coming up today on the program, we're going to hear from Emily Suter, Director of Premium Seating and Donor Experience. A lot of things happening with the Thundering Herd. As it is Wednesday, it's our opportunity to find out a little bit more about what's happening around campus and with the athletic department. And Emily is going to join us in a few minutes to tell us more about what's happening this week. Also, it was Pro Day today at Marshall. Tyler Kennett has agreed to come on and tell us a little bit more about what he saw today. He'd been there all day covering the event, and there were a few interesting things that stood out to him. So Tyler has agreed to come on, and we'll talk to him in about 30 minutes. Tyler, of course, does a fantastic job with HD Media covering the Thundering Herd. So looking forward to getting his thoughts. And, of course, I don't want to leave you out. So you know the number. And, again, just in case you don't have it, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let me catch you up on what I've been doing. So Tyler yesterday, again, speaking of Tyler Kennett, he did a great job. He has a story out at the website now in the paper, HD Media. The news came out that there is a Title IX lawsuit which is being filed against Marshall after the university announced that it was doing away with swimming and diving. And so Tyler did a pretty good job with the news story about what's happening. And I've also reached out. One of the contact partners involved in this is Carrie Joshi. And I reached out to Carrie and asked Carrie if there would be an opportunity to talk about the event. And so they have a hearing for their request for that preliminary injunction next Thursday. And so Carrie has told me that as soon as that happens, we can get together and talk about this. So I have reached out to the firm that is representing the 15 student athletes or the 15 members of this lawsuit in Dodd versus Marshall University. So we're going to follow up on this, but there's a good story now that you should read. And again, it's over HD Media's website. Tyler Kennett wrote a little bit about it. We'll ask him something about it briefly when we get him on the program here in the next few minutes. But again, he's going to tell us more about what's happening at Pro Day for the Thundering Herd. And Emily's going to tell us more about what's happening with Marshall. Lots of events happening now that basketball season is pretty much over. You know, football's getting ramped up again for spring game, and there's obviously a lot of excitement in the air for Coach Gibson's squad. So all of that's coming up, and we'll get your text in. And you've been pretty busy already. I got an interesting text today before the show began, and I checked it out. And it looks like the NCAA, and I want to thank one of the texters for pointing this out to me. You can always text the program, or you can find me on X. And if you just want to message me, DMs are open, at Paul Swann. You can always message me something that's interesting to you. I definitely will look at it and respond. It looks like the NCAA is going to add flag football as an emerging sports for women's program. And so now, the vote at the 2026 NCAA convention makes sport eligible to pursue championship status through emerging sports pathways, is what the story reads. And so now flag football has been added effective immediately. This is after, according to the story, after representatives from all three divisions approved the recommendation this week at the 2026 NCAA convention in Washington, D.C., in the area. And so, according to the release, flag football is one of the fastest growing sports in the country at the youth, high school, and collegiate level. Now, there's going to be, of course, a lot of interest in this because it's part of the 2028 Summer Olympics in L.A. So this could be an opportunity for Marshall University to create more opportunities for women and try to honor the commitment to Title IX. Now, I don't know if this would be something that Marshall would pursue right away, but you look at it, it's fastly growing. It's an Olympic sport. It's going to be at the Summer Games. This could be something here that could help the university catch up, close the gap. Again, we borrow that from Coach Huff, and we appreciate him for being so quotable when he was here at Marshall University, so we continue to quote him. This could bring a lot of opportunity to female student athletes, and it doesn't replace swimming and diving. I'm not advocating, hey, we lost swimming and diving, but hey, we got flag football. There are a lot of things that are happening right now at the legislative level, and of course with this lawsuit that we'll get some more clarity as we understand more and what passes in the state house. But at the same time, this could be an opportunity for something that Marshall could do as a opportunity for females, women, and student athletes that would want to participate in something like this. There you have a new opportunity. If it was me, I would have had beach volleyball because the league sponsors it. So anything that the league sponsors, I would try to make sure I had a team. And of course, it's going to be very difficult. I would like to see a men's tennis team at Marshall University, but you have to make sure that you offset that. And there's, again, balance, because you don't want to tip the scales even further. You want to make sure that there is balance. And I would love to see men's tennis at Marshall University alongside women's tennis. And I don't know if that would happen in the short term, but that's a program I think could really benefit from having both a men's team and a women's team. But these are just musings and wanderings in my mind as far as things I'd like to see happen at Marshall University. I know there's a push for club hockey going on right now from some students, and I don't know how serious that is really going to be. I mean, there's a lot that goes into hockey, and obviously if I had a lot of money to donate to the university, I would be donating it and fielding a hockey team. But it's very hard to just field teams in any sport, so you've got to be careful what you can do. And that's why, if you look at this, flag football could be an option down the road for Marshall University. How expensive could it be? And if it's something that is growing and maybe the league would look at in the future sponsoring, again, you got to make sure that you have a place for your students to compete. That's why swimming and diving was in such a tough spot. It was competing in the American because the Sun Belt's no longer sponsoring it. But those are things for another day. But I do want to get your feedback on that. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's the number to be a part of today's show. You can also find me on X at Paul Swann. When we continue, we're going to turn our attention now to what's happening at Marshall University with the Director of Premium Seating and Donor Experience, Emily Suter. Always fun to have Emily join us on the program. So we'll do that when we continue. Tyler Kennett's going to join us around 5:30 or so, get us caught up in everything that happened at Marshall Pro Day. All of that and your text coming up on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% and help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm.
In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5100.
4149.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
No matter where you are in life, Mount West Community and Technical College isn't just about an education. It's a step toward your future. We provide the hands-on support you need with classes that fit your life. At Mount West, we know you by name because here, you're more than just a number. Mount West Community and Technical College, because you matter here. Visit mctc.edu to apply today.
Food Fair is making shopping simpler than ever. Visit the brand new foodfairmarkets.com or download the Food Fair app to experience shopping at your fingertips with Easy Shop. Browse the digital weekly circular, add items to your cart effortlessly, and enjoy exclusive early access to sales. Plus, earn cart cash rewards seamlessly. And with the Buy It Again feature, finding your favorite items is just one tap away. It's all at foodfairmarkets.com or the Food Fair app. Food Fair, delightfully local, deliciously fresh.
It's the annual Kiwanis Pancake Festival. You've enjoyed it as a child. Now it's time to share the Pancake Festival with your entire family. Some Kiwanis members have served pancakes for over 50 years. Pancake Patty will be a hit with the kids. Let's get together on Saturday, March 21st from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the New Baptist Church on 28th Street in Huntington. More raffles, more fun, and you can win a $500 gift card from TikTok Tire. Advance tickets are available at community retailers or at the door. Plan to spend Saturday, March 21st at the annual Kiwanis Pancake Festival, Huntington's favorite family reunion.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You know, another great way to listen to the podcast, it's the app. All you have to do is head over to our website, and you can get the link there at WRVC.com. It's for your Android or your iPhone, and you can listen to the podcast right there on the app when it's uploaded. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Start getting your text in. It's now a pleasure to welcome back to the program the Director of Premium Seating and Donor Experience, Emily Suter. And Emily's got a lot going on. It might be the off season for basketball, football starting to ramp up. Obviously, we got the spring game coming up. We'll talk about that in this moment with Emily. But there's a lot happening around campus because, well, it's never out of season for an event at Marshall University. It's pretty much the vibe I'm getting from you, Emily.
Yeah, there's never a true off season whenever something's ending and other things starting, and that's the beauty of athletics. There's not much time for rest. There's always planning to be done and always some excitement, and it's good.
How many months are you in this now? You changed titles. You basically you've been the go-to person for a lot of things, and now the title probably reflects it a little bit better. But how long have you been doing this now, and kind of what's changed for you as you have migrated over into this new position?
Yeah, it's been since about the beginning of November was when this was first discussed, and then it finally grew some legs and took feet, and then Herd Hospitality was born towards the end of January. So a few months in and learning every day.
So Emily's here to tell us about what we can expect with the facilities and, of course, the event space happening at Marshall University. Event space rental is still a new concept, I'm sure, for a lot of people having the opportunity to maybe have an event at Marshall University, be it the football stadium, be it at the Cam Henderson Center. You know, are there pretty much spaces that are not off limits to fans right now? Pretty much everything's open. You've got a venue or you've got something to fit everyone's event, and I'm sure you get pretty creative as well.
Yeah, no, there's no task too big, no task too small sort of thing. we're actually doing a lot of things for local schools, some football games and practices and baseball tournaments and things like that. So even if you want to play or practice under the lights, that's an option. We're having baby showers in the deck and bridal showers in the Hartley room over at basketball. So just finding new ways to get the process the best for the consumer. So we're learning after every event, but graduation parties and things like that. So we're booking up, and then at baseball we have the President's Suite, which was available on the single game rental, and that took off, and the schedule filled up. So now we're trying to get creative at baseball, like on a game day. So it's just exciting to see, and the more people know about it, the more we'll see it grow. Things like that, because how are you supposed to be involved in something if you don't know about it? So that's why we're here spreading the word and just trying to get on social media as much as possible, take pictures at each event, and get it out there.
What's been the most creative use of space at Marshall University so far?
We had our Be Her event at the beginning of February in the deck, and so we had a panel in there, and we actually had a bunch of vendors in the hallway, lining the hallway, so took over the football coach's space and had a bunch of pink in there, and you can really transform a space with tablecloths and all the decorations. So we actually have someone who's going to have a graduation party for getting their white coat at the beginning of May, and we're going to put the white coats on the mannequins and things like that. So whatever you want to do in there, I don't see a reason why not, you know. Until the day that we have to say no, we're experimenting.
What's the attraction to converting a space at Marshall University into a space that can serve whatever purpose you want? What's the attraction, the advantage, say, over a traditional space for, say, as you mentioned, something as simple as maybe a recital? I'm sorry, not a recital, but maybe you could have a recital in there, but a reception, or there you go. Throw that in the idea book, a recital at the deck. But for events like a bridal shower, I don't know, a baby shower for anything, or something like the Be Heard event. What's the attraction? What makes that event space a little bit more special than what you could possibly get traditionally elsewhere?
Well, one thing for sure is I think people care about Marshall, and it's special to have an event in a Marshall space. Ryan actually got married in the student center, so he's a Marshall person. He wants to be in a Marshall facility. So just being able to open up our facilities in our areas that we already have to give people an even better experience and creating a memory. Like they can come to a football game in 20 years with their kids and say, oh, we actually had a party in there, or just being able to walk around campus and say, oh, like I did this here, and just adding events and things like that could provide that for people. And another thing is like the flexibility of it. Like the deck is so big. The Dutch Miller deck is huge, and so you have all these possibilities of configuring the room the way you want it. Every event so far has been different and uniquely their own. You can put round tables in there. You can put high top tables in there. You can leave the middle open and have a dance floor. So just the opportunity to make it your own event and get that memory for yourself, I think, is important. And from the conversations that I've had with people that I've met with, it's special for them as well.
How capable are you as far as serving the needs? Are there any limitations right now, or if you're finding that you've got everything that anyone could possibly need and you can answer most requests?
Well, I'm lucky. I have really good people that work alongside me. So when I don't know the answer, I can call Andrew Brown, who's our head of facilities, and he could either tell me yes or no, or liability-wise, heck no. But he knows what is available and what him and his team can provide. And I'm still learning, so I'm not scared to say, let me check on that and I'll get back to you. which I've had to do multiple times. So, but I'm learning as we go, and it's all starting to come together. And the process has been super good with the facilities team and getting people what they need when they need it. Also, our marketing team, when somebody needs a slideshow or their logo up on the video boards and things like that, they're able to help make that an extra step that's an added benefit to the person in the space, and being able to see like congratulations or welcome and things like that. It's just the little touches like that that we're trying to add and make a priority.
So we could have anything there. We could have a sports card show. We could have a Halloween party. Anything. Emily is going to make that happen for you if it's in her power. So if someone is interested in maybe using a space at Marshall, basketball facility, football facility, softball, baseball, anything that's open, how do they get a hold of you? What's the easiest path?
Well, you can. My email is just my name. It's Emily, EMILY.Suter, SUTER, @marshall.edu, or head to Herd Zone. All my contact information is on there under the staff directory, and even there's a tab under tickets that's Herd Hospitality Rentals. So you could just check out all the spaces. We're adding pictures as events take place. So if you want to see your picture on there, let's make it happen.
And this is, again, this is any athletic space that you have access to. Someone could possibly call you and say, hey, I want to do this at this, and you're pretty much open for business.
Yeah, I don't want to, this isn't a new thing, us using our facilities. I mean, we've had, last season, there were a lot of high school soccer games there at the Hoops Family Field. And so just being able to advertise it and add an additional thing of, hey, have like a fun event, not just a game. You could do this. And so it's something that we've been doing, but now we're going to try to amplify and do even more of.
Emily's pretty busy as well. Not only are there events that you can have during off season of any sport, or I'm sure you'll work something out if it's in season, if it fits, but there's also tickets for the Dutch Miller deck. There you go. There's a thing that's still pretty popular. So what's happening there with the deck as far as, trying to make sure that you're maximizing that space? And then, of course, that'll go right into the spring game, which is coming up sooner than fans probably realize.
Yeah, we're putting a plan together now for the spring game, football game, and using the deck. We're trying to work with the quarterback club to get alumni in there because I feel like that's fun for donors and people that want tickets in there to be able to mingle with the alumni that come back, but also experience the deck on a game day. So we are going to put that out here in a little bit, but those will be $50 tickets for the spring game, and access the deck like it's a normal game day and talk to alum and things like that. So we look forward to getting back on the field. We actually had pro day today. So football's always around. It's never just in the fall. So come check out our team on April 11th in the deck, and normal GA tickets are obviously going to be on sale as well.
Did you make a go of it on the 40-yard? Did you make a go and make it see if you can get a pretty good speed?
I just didn't want to rain on anybody's parade or take the shine away. Even though I did hear on the last I don't know if it was last week or the week before. It must have been the week before. But you asked Matt Lewis who would win in a race, if it would be me, Ryan, or him. And I do agree it would be Matt Lewis. But I'd give it a chance.
I think you'd be the one that's most game. I don't know if those two would even show up to participate, to be honest.
Ryan would probably cramp walking onto the track. So
there we have it, our first Ryan Chris shot of the week. It seems like
it's already Wednesday and there hasn't been one yet.
No, it seems like tradition. I don't know why he still talks to me, because every week somebody gets a shot in at his experience, and I enable it.
sometimes it's just too easy. That was low-hanging fruit. So.
Absolutely. We'll take
He'll
that.
understand.
Yeah, we'll take that every single day. He wouldn't respect us if we didn't take it.
Right, if we just let it slip.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So Emily Suter's with us, Director of Premium Seating and Donor Experience, before I let you go. Anything else you want to hit on that I missed?
No, I think we're just looking forward to getting baseball home again this weekend, and we have a spring soccer game for men's soccer, volleyball, all the things still going. Just an exciting time, and just looking forward ahead. Football season ticket renewals, we're already planning on that, so things are in the works, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Emily Suter, our guest, Director of Premium Seating and Donor Experience. Thanks for doing it again, Emily, and we'll catch up with you soon.
All right, thanks, Paul.
There you have it. Lots of things happening. Head over to herdzone.com. You can get the links there, and you can look up Emily, get her contact information, and reach out to her. When we continue, we're going to talk to Tyler Kennett, HD Media. It was Pro Day today, as Emily pointed out. She didn't want to upstage anyone with the 40 time, so we'll find out how well everyone else did when we continue on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code July25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code July25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code July25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Cold weather's on its way. And what do you want on those cold, chilly evenings? A warm blanket and a hot cup of cocoa. Well, you know who else wants the same comfort? Mice. Messy, uninvited guests. They sneak in and leave droppings, chew through your food and packages. Don't let mice take over your home this fall and winter. Call K&B Pest Control. We will kill for your business. Call today, 304-523-4281.
Grab the mic and bring the fun to the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Introducing Mike Night at the Marshall Cafe, our brand new karaoke night. It's the first Saturday of every month from 9 to 11. Whether you're a total superstar or a shower singer who just loves to have fun, this night is for you. Sing loud, laugh hard, and make a night of it at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Mike Night, where everyone's a headliner, at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe on the corner of Fun and 3rd Avenue across from Pullman Square.
Buffalo Wild Wings, bringing wings, beer, and sports to the Huntington area. Join us starting Monday, March 9th at our brand new location, 970 Mall Road in Barbersville. Every game on the wall-to-wall TVs. Enjoy your favorite wings, sauces, burgers, plus a full bar. Bring the family and head out to Buffalo Wild Wings, 970 Mall Road in Barbersville. Come on, Huntington, it's back. Buffalo Wild Wings. Come in and get your game on at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, Metro News Talk Line back tomorrow, 10:06, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Well, Emily Suter was with us just a few minutes ago, and as she mentioned, it was Pro Day today at Marshall University, and the man that is going to write all about it was there all day. Is Tyler Kennett from HD Media. He joins us on the program now. Tyler's been pretty busy. Did you have fun today at Pro Day, watching everyone jump and run?
Yeah, it's always fun. Pro Day is probably my favorite time of year because you get to kind of reconnect with guys. I think is the big thing, at least from my perspective now. This time last year, I was kind of getting the swing of it, but now, seeing guys like Boogie, especially for me again, catching back up with those guys was really great. Even seeing some faces from other places. I forget his name. I think it was Brown from Shepherd came as well from as a Martinsburg product. So it's cool to see some opportunities get extended and all of that good stuff. Really impressed by a couple of things that I'm sure we'll get to and everything. But for me, it's just getting a story for every day for the next few days and all that good stuff.
Before we touch on what happened at Pro Day, yesterday you had a story following up on the Title IX lawsuit, which has been filed against Marshall University. Of course, this is going to be probably a story that's going to continue for quite some time. What were your initial impressions after the lawsuit came out and you spoke with Carrie Joshi about that case? What stood out to you as you were talking to her?
Yeah, well, the first thing for me, sorry, I'm outside, but the first thing for me was the timing worked out for me in terms of I got back from Pensacola on Monday, so I was just gracious in the sense that I wasn't riding at an airport. The angle for me with it all was that the firm offered a press inquiry. Well, Marshall provided no further comment, so I didn't want to make it off as if I'm playing any favorites or anything. I just went with someone who could give me more information because while my wife is a lawyer, I don't know everything. So they have some pretty extensive experience with Title IX was the impression that I drew from it. Just talking to her, she's the lead lawyer and partner on the case to kind of discuss the process, because it seems that if you want to make a complaint, and this is not saying anything in favor of either side, just generally how it works. If you feel that your organization has committed a violation against you, you have to either file a complaint with the OCR, the Office of Civil Rights, and let that process play out to where they perform an investigation, or as the person who is being violated, you have to do a lawsuit towards the organization. Those are kind of the ways that you can enforce Title IX. So that's kind of the avenue that the team and everyone went with for it. I don't really know what I can say about it much more than that the complaint is available. You're able to look at it and see the things that, the plaintiffs and that team allege. I try my best to summarize it in my writing, but the complaint, whether it be the injunction or anything else, are well over 40 pages. So it goes a lot beyond more than what I'm writing myself, right? I would say you should start there and get a look at it and kind of develop your own opinions, because obviously in the legal world, it's not like, it's not like everything that is being said is gospel, right? You have an argument to be made, and Marshall specifically did not comment on it, so they had no opportunity to refute anything. You just have to use what you're given from a reporter standpoint. So that was kind of what I went with. I know that firm has had some successful cases in the past working with similar subjects. So, I think you'll see as it develops. I don't really know there's much I could say other than if you really want to get into the weeds of it, you can look through those things. I would encourage you to do so yourself. Go beyond my reporting even. I feel like this is the type of thing that people need to look at a little bit more, maybe as well with the Senate bill that's active in Charleston that talks a little bit about endowments for Olympic sports at the collegiate level. I believe that will see some sort of vote in the Senate in the coming days. I've been watching that a little bit well. There might be something to come around with that.
I thought your reporting was excellent, and it was very enlightening, and it helped me maybe form at least a better initial idea of what this is about, because just, off the cuff, hey, Marshall's getting rid of this so it can take those resources and hopefully improve its Title IX by going in this direction, and it isn't as simple as maybe even I thought or made it sound like yesterday. So I thought your reporting was excellent, and I encourage everyone to head over to the Herald-Dispatch website or pick up a copy of the paper and read that story. But we switch from Title IX to, of course, Marshall's Pro Day. And I know you love the analytics, you love the numbers, you get into all of that, and I'm sure you were like a kid in a candy store today with everything.
Yeah, I wish. The thing with Pro Days is that it's not necessarily run by Marshall. I believe that the Steelers were kind of the head up of the camp, or the Pro Day, if you will, today. We got to catch up with Kyle Powers, which was awesome. He works for the Steelers as a Marshall grad and everything, so it was good to see him. So the numbers, I haven't seen like everything to where I can look at it and be like, oh, like this was awesome, this is great, this is cool. But there were some that stuck out, and obviously talking to some players and everything, I'm sure that the thing that maybe people saw on Twitter, seeing that Zane Porter still has some kicking ability in him. He was a former kicker in high school, played soccer growing up, went out and kind of booted. I mean, he went and did kicking drills, and there was a kick there at the end, kind of capped off the Pro Day where he's beyond 60 yards. And I mean, it was close. I'm saying he really missed it by a few feet type of thing. So people really took advantage of their opportunities. Boogie Trotter was absolutely jacked. There's no other way to put it. I heard that he put over 20, I want to say 21 or 22 reps on the bench as DB, which that's about 225, repping it that much, especially, the questions with his size and everything. He talked about it himself. That was what he wanted to do, was prove that he has the strength and the ability to compete, even while being a little bit smaller as a DB. So I thought he really gave himself a chance. The 40, this is completely unofficial, just what I heard. I want to say it was in the 4.5 range for Boogie, which is really good, but not a lot of numbers I can pull from. Eric Meeks at O-line, 32.5 vertical is what he said. So, I mean, you're talking about explosion off of the legs and everything. You're not going to ask your O-lineman to go dunk a basketball, but you are going to ask them to explode into, the block and everything else that you're trying to do in the assignment, to where those guys really put in the effort. You could tell it wasn't like I was just watching a bunch of guys out there running like that look like me. You know what I'm saying?
Our guest is Tyler Kennett, HD Media. He was at Pro Days. So what do you like to watch the most when you're at Pro Day or you're looking at these type of things? What's the one or two things that maybe you look for to kind of get an idea of where somebody's at? Is there anything you try to zero in on, or are you just basically taking it all in?
Today, where I was taking photos, I was just kind of watching a little bit of everything. I really enjoy the shuttle and L drill in the 40. I actually showed up a little bit later just to catch those agility drills. Everybody likes the 40. I mean, it's just like the most talked about thing you can get. I think that I like the shuttle, though, and the L drill, because it gives you a little bit more than just outright speed. You're talking about like cutting a corner and, change of direction and those kinds of things. Because if you think about last year with Mike Green, those are really the only two drills that he competed in for the most part that people were really focused on, were those agility drills, and ended up lifting him into the spot where he was ended up drafted, right? So it's, for me, like those change of directions and the explosiveness that you can generate. I'm far from a football scout, and I really was not a good player, so I can't tell you everything. But anytime you watch an explosive play in football, those are the kind of games the plays that win games, and it's derivative of what the play is. You're hitting a cut on a route to get past a man and create separation. You're sidestepping your tackler or defender as a running back or someone that's carrying the ball. Even as a quarterback, the ability to take a quick burst of speed to evade a last-second play, make a throw, or even if you're a mobile quarterback, the ability to power through things. And even on the line, if you're able to create that extra half second of advantage. You're going to win more often than not. So those are the kind of things I like watching really in just about every sport nowadays, is the explosiveness of it. Because I do think that nowadays we're seeing a lot of injuries, and it's because we're advancing into a game that's more explosive, which is unfortunate. But I do think it makes for a better product. So those are the kind of things that I like. But I have no clue of anything of this is where I would draft this guy or anything. I don't make those decisions, or I'd make a whole lot more money and wouldn't be doing this.
Tyler Kennett's with us, HD Media. So I'm going to ask of course, the obvious question: what's your 40 time? Everyone seems to gravitate towards that. So, what do you think your 40 time would be? Did you at least attempt it? Yeah. What do you think?
Oh my gosh! If I could get under 5, I feel great.
Okay.
I'm still young enough to where I could feel I could do that. When I was a lot younger, I played golf, but I would play I was more of a distance guy because I was a ROTC kid in high school, and they made us run a mile every week. So when I was in my athletic prime, and by that I mean I was 14 years old, and then it all went downhill from there. I could run a mile in 5:45 to 6 minutes, but I was also 100 pounds, so I had nothing to carry and all of that. But I don't think I ever ran a 40 and tried to time it. If I did, they were timing it, and because of the hand timer, they were saying that I was running it as fast as an NFL running back, but in reality I was probably 6 seconds or something.
Fair enough. Tyler Kennett's with us. So as you were watching this today, two things that I'm always curious about. One, you mentioned the Steelers. Anyone else there, any other teams represented? And then to kind of follow that up, was there anything or anyone that you weren't expecting to stand out and surprise you the way they did? Did anything like that happen for you?
I'm not sure on the first one. I know that they were there. There weren't as many team shirts and whatnot, because obviously last year you had Mike Green, and there were arguments that he could have been taken in the first round really high. So you had just about every team represented. I think now it's more of a thing of you had some representation. There was obviously scouts there, the benches at the 40 were filled, but I couldn't necessarily just identify every team off the top of my head. I asked around and nobody had an exact number, but not as many as last year, but still enough to where people are being seen. As for someone that stuck out, kind of mentioned it at the start with Zane Porter being a local guy, and I thought that his agilities and stuff, I wasn't timing them myself, but looked pretty good. And obviously he's entering this day at linebacker, but then by the end of it, they're bringing down the net and the field goal posts in the indoor facility, and they're asking, and Zane's like, I'm going to kick. And it was so funny because I knew that he kicked in high school, but I'd never seen it, right? And then someone comes over to me and was like, in a camp, he hit from 65. And he told me, he later confirmed it with me himself, that that's indeed true. He has restarted training for kicking, had been working on that, and was kicking field goals from 60 plus, right? So he goes out, and it felt like, man, every kick, I can't remember exactly if it was 2 or 3 that he missed, but either way, one of those misses, of which there were very few, was, I believe, from 62 yards. And he was dead center, and all he needed was 2 more feet of distance, and he gets it. And you could plug that in. It's indoor. If he's outside, and, when you're going to kick a field goal like that in an actual game setting, if you have some sort of wind behind you to pull it, I could say he's probably a very consistent from 50 to 60 type of guy, which is very impressive. And it was just kind of funny because from what I heard from Coach Gibson was kind of like, man, nobody told us that you could kick. What, it was very funny to talk to him after and just see what he's done. And it's always good to root for a local guy. So I'd say that probably stuck out to me. Felt like everybody in the room was watching him participate in that to close it out. And by the end, everybody in the room was going up to him like, man, that was impressive.
Tyler Kennett's with us from HD Media. We got this from the text line. You might have already answered it in that response, but texter wants to know, besides Boogie Trotter, who do you think if there's any other draft prospects? What's your thoughts on that?
I think that Floyd Lacey has the ability to be looked at. Cam Smith as well. I talked about Meeks a little bit. I'm not as very keen on the O-line and what people are looking for, but Meeks has just always been consistent as all get out. And we talked a little bit about like his explosiveness and whatnot. I think Cam has the size, especially as a DB, to where he could see some sort of like camp workout or some sort of look. He also had the Hula Bowl. So, there's been some people who probably have him on his radar and everything. Plus, he brings a lot to the table in terms of just his development and everything. But really, his size sticks out. And, I mean, just from doing my photo work and stuff, like he looks like a very good, athlete when you look at like how he runs and stuff like that, just in the still frame. I think that he really has a shot. And then Floyd Lacey as well, like in terms of what he did and put on tape, he has that versatility where he played some running back. He comes here to become a receiver and works through it, and the explosiveness that he can generate because he has that experience. He runs harder and all those things. He was really happy with how he did. We talked to him at the end there to where that's another guy that I could really see. And that's just a handful of names. I think that anybody has a chance. Like if you put up good enough numbers to which I don't have full access to, that someone's going to take a chance.
Our guest is Tyler Kennett, HD Media. Of course, you can follow all of the news from Pro Day and more over at the Herald-Dispatch website. Tyler, as always, thanks for helping out as much as you do, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
There you have it, Tyler Kennett. We got to take a quick break, come back. We've got a couple of questions from the text line we're going to get to when we continue on this edition of The Drive. Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Ready to kick off your next home project? Get a head start at the WSAZ Home and Garden Show. We'll be there with the experts to answer your home improvement questions. And we're doing something new and taking our studio on the road. We'll deliver your news and weather live from the show. Come join us, see what's new, get inspired for spring, and leave with ideas you can use right away. Everything you're looking for, all under one roof. The WSAZ Home and Garden Show, March 13th, 14th, and 15th at Marshall Health Network Arena.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Here's another Kindred Communication Community Chatter. Hope's Place Child Advocacy Center having its annual chocolate extravaganza Saturday, March 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Ashland Town Center. Hope's Place seeking chocolate vendors and basket donations from the community to assist with this event. If you need information, call Hope's Place at 606-325-4737.
This Kindred Communications Community Chatter brought to you by Davis & Sons, your place for American-made attachments for skid steers, excavators. They're located in Vinton, Ohio.
Get the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing provides your home with the best protection from wind, hail, and fire. Choose from 29 stylish colors to enhance your home's appearance. Available in cut-to-length panels that cover a large area for a fast installation. Shop our selection of roofing products today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Baseball is back. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 will be bringing the action of America's game to you all summer. First up, the Marshall Thundering Herd as they try to unseat national NCAA runner-up Coastal Carolina in the powerful Sun Belt Conference. Then it's the resurgent Pittsburgh Pirates with a new roster and a new attitude, setting their sights on playoff contention. Baseball is more than a game, it's a lifestyle, and you'll find it all here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m. to give Dad his medicine. Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m. to give Dad his medicine. At 6 a.m., I make his breakfast. Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m. to give Dad his medicine. At 6 a.m., I make his breakfast. At 7 a.m., I shower. Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m. to give Dad his medicine. At 6 a.m., I make his breakfast. At 7 a.m., I shower. I start laundry at 8. At 10, we go for a walk. Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers for advice, tips, and support. Together, let's help each other better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Final segment for today's edition of The Drive. We'll get a quick couple of texts in. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter wants to make sure that I saw that Mark Snyder named the head coach of the new Shawnee State football program in Portsmouth. I did see that. I'm going to try to reach out and see if we can get Coach Snyder on the program with us, talk a little bit more about that. We had some folks from Mountain East on I think it was a couple months ago. We did that show when we talked a little bit about what that means and having them in the Mountain East, and of course being a football program startup. And so we'll definitely follow up on that. But that's good. Of course, Coach Snyder had been doing it for a long time. You've been doing it when the headline for Shawnee State is renowned college football coach Mark Snyder to become first ever head coach of Shawnee State University's new football program. So Division II, NCAA Division II. I think that's great because this is going to be another outlet for, one, not everyone's going to be able to play Division I football. And there's no shame in that. There's just so many slots there. And two, maybe this could be a pathway to moving up. You know how the transfer portal works these days. And if you don't necessarily catch on with someone when you're coming out of high school, there's an opportunity at Shawnee State. And to be quite honest, it's not as if it's out in the middle of nowhere. It'll get attention. It's in the Mountain East, so there you're in a respected league, a quality league. It's not fly-by-night by any stretch of the imagination. So I think that's a good thing. And so we'll try to get Coach Snyder on here in the future to talk about the program. And I'm looking forward to covering and following Shawnee State. I think it's great. Anytime there are more programs, more opportunities, doesn't matter the level. I think sometimes people sleep on the smaller programs or the lower levels. There's a lot of talent out there. A lot of kids just want to find a place to play and continue their education. And I think a place like Shawnee State would be a great addition. And you know the reason partially why they do this as well. It's because, it brings in more enrollment. You have more students coming in. It increases your enrollment. Of course, it increases community involvement. So now Shawnee State has a football program. And so what do you do on game day? You can go watch Shawnee State if you're in the community. So it's always a good thing. So congratulations to Coach Snyder for being named the first ever head coach of Shawnee State, and looking forward to seeing how far he can take that program. That's pretty prestigious. I mean, anytime you're the first ever of anything and you're the first ever coach of Shawnee State, you're going to set the foundation for years to come. That's going to do it for this edition. Thank you for being a part of it. I want to thank our guests. First up, Tyler Kennett just joined us from HD Media. And always a pleasure to talk to Emily Suter, the Director of Premium Seating and Donor Experience at Marshall University. She genuinely will take good care of you. I've talked to her off air, and I see her in action all the time. You're in good hands if you want to ever work with Emily. That's going to do it for this edition. Back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.